thank you to the witnesses for coming here today. I appreciate your time and your expertise. I wasn't here when we passed the reauthorization previously, so I'm hoping for just a little bit of insight. So my first question is for Deputy Administrator Elwell, who I know you've been here before. Well, welcome back in your new role. There's been a troubling number of media reports about passengers and crews being falling ill or becoming sick because of cabin fumes and air quality in the cabins. And I'm hoping to hear from you briefly about how the fumes and smoke might even make it into the plane for folks who don't already know that.
Thank you for that question, Ms. Davids. We are working toward completing all the requirements that's included, including engaging with stakeholders on useful education materials. This is all parts of what was in the bill. Useful education materials, developing reporting guidance for carriers, reminding carriers to use their SMS, their safety management system, to identify issues. That's what SMS is for. It's what it's all about, to identify issues and share with crew, their crew members and their technicians, and engaging. We are engaging in the research of bleed air. You know, when it comes to cabin air issues, it often comes down to the bleed air, what's coming in the cabin to pressurize the cabin from the outside, and the refresh rate, you know, the recirculation rate. So we are looking into it in all the areas that the bill mandated. And if it's okay, like to check with Lirio to see if you can expound on that.
That would be great.
It is part of the certification requirements of the aircraft, but right now,
Thank you.
I don't know that I have anything more to say on that. I think it is under research. We have the appropriate working groups starting the process and using the data as was indicated by Deputy Administrator.
And actually, that's a great point to hit a follow-up question I had, which is, I know that there were a number of requirements in the reauthorization, and commissioning a study was one of those requirements, and it seems as though that's been something that's been delayed. So I'm curious if you could give a little bit of maybe a progress update on what kind of research you've been able to do into, if I have the language correct, it's to assess the potential health effects of the contaminants from bleed air, which you mentioned, and yeah, any other updates you might have around that.
Yes, ma'am. We have begun that process, begun that research and that testing. And I remember reading through it, but I will have to get back to you on the details of that research. But I'm getting a note.
Ooh, I love this.
Yeah. So we're actually meeting next week with the stakeholders and the participants, and we'll get back to you, ma'am, on exactly what we're doing in that area.
That would be great. Especially, of course, I'm very concerned about passengers, and I'm very concerned about all the folks who make their livelihood spending time on planes. So thank you for your time, and I yield back.
Thank you. I recognize Representative Rouser.